Brazilian flags far outnumbering those of supporters of Italy, but the colour in this very dramatic Aztec stadium puts into the shade the dull morning experienced in Mexico City. In thunderstorms here for the last 3 nights, and at the moment no sign of any sunshine. But this 9th final of World Cup history will decide the destiny of the Jules Rimet trophy, whether it will go to this side, Brazil, or to Italy. The winners will keep that little trophy, Brazil having won it in 1958 and 1962, and the Italians twice back in the 30s. And that's the Brazilian lineup, no change from the team that had to put history in its place in meeting Uruguay in the semi-final. Uruguay, the side that beat Brazil in their own patch back in 1950. But that Brazil did, and really only England have troubled them on their way to the expected place, at least by their own supporters, in the final here in the capital city. All eyes will be on Pele, of course, but there are so many other gifted players in this lineup, as indeed there are in the Italian side, but it's a very different attitude, the side led by Giacinto Facchetti. No place in the starting lineup for the man whose goal decided an extraordinary semi-final against the West Germans, 4-3. Gianni Rivera, who not only scored that goal, but a few moments earlier had cleared the ball of his own line, possibly for the first time in his life. Mazzola, number 15, has been preferred consistently in the starting lineup. Team that struggled in the early stages and then found their form in the quarterfinals when they put 4 goals past Mexico. And away we go on the World Cup final of 1970. Italy right to left, there's Luigi Riva. First touch for Gérson. Crucial he will be to the outcome, I'm sure. Jairzinho, scored in every round so far. Gérson. An early, easy feel of the ball for Enrico Albertosi. There's Pele running back. 16 was Everaldo. Riva again. Pele. Good cover on the return pass. Burgnich. Determined hounding. Italy keep possession. De Sisti. Mazzola. Luigi Riva! Golly, what a good strike. Tipped over by Félix. If he's in that sort of shooting form as he was against Mexico when he scored twice in the second half, quarter-final, and Italy may be more progressive than we've imagined. Mazzola to take the corner. First of the contest, obviously. Comfortably claimed by Félix. Carlos Alberto, the captain, just loves to get forward down this flank. Here's again the captain. It's not the best pass he's played during the course of this tournament. Albertosi. Just in the squad. Except for the number 3 goalkeeper. Italian goalkeepers tend to mature rather later than those in the home nations. Or so it's felt. Carlos Alberto. A lot coming down the right in the opening. And that will be a free kick. Challenged by Bertini on Pele. And that's one of the man-for-man marking matchups. Italians playing with the man-for-man marking with line of 4 behind which is Pierluigi Cera of Cagliari. Cagliari, the new champions. Pele is going to take it, or is he? No, he's not. It was Rivellino who slipped at the point of contact. Top surface is a bit wet, it has to be said. There's been so much rain in the capital city in the last 3 days, as I said. Clodoaldo. Forward to Gérson, who's playing fairly deep at the start. And doesn't seem to have picked up a marker in that position. Here's Carlos Alberto. That's a more testing cross. And it's a corner. Taken short. Comfortably cleared in the end by Domenghini. Back it comes. Difficult one for Albertosi. Did it go over the line? He throws it out very quickly before the inquiry is complete. Boninsegna. Corner saved by Wilson Piazza. Free kick given anyway. Gérson from deep in his own half. Italians quite happy to sit back. The side in possession, they just hold their positions. Get his head. De Sisti. It's on the left for Riva. Rather a long time to see that opportunity. Every attack starting with this man. And he's allowed to get a full view of everything. He's staying very deep. He hasn't been given the marker. Somebody will have to fulfill that role should he get rather further forward. And Boninsegna, who was fouled then. Bertini forward. Corner. And off the head of Piazza. Further with all the set pieces. Facchetti. Teasing. Goalkeeper not with confidence. Follow-up shot was from Mazzola. And again, a free kick. What, me, ref? No, it's an Italian free kick. No, it's not. Yeah, I sort myself out in a minute. It is an Italian free kick. Pele confusing me, but not the referee. Slightly more important. 15, Mazzola. Facchetti moving away to the left. Options further left with Riva. Boninsegna placed in the sort of inside right position. That's a good try. Riva getting some space. Rivellino. Gérson. Faced by Rosato. Hasn't got very near him as yet. Gérson with the throw. And here's Rivellino. And Pele! Well, it had to be Pele, because that is Brazil's 100th goal in World Cup finals. Simple goal too, but the height of the climb absolutely crucial. Quick throw in, Rivellino's cross, and Pele rising way above Bertini, his marker. Given the room for the cross, but look at the climb here. And Bertozzi with little chance for the header as powerful as that. Pele. Clear free kick. Tripped by Burgnich. The Italian attitude would be, I had to stop him. And the name goes into the book. Tarcisio Burgnich of Internazionale of Milan. Referee not prepared to let Pele have any attention. 16 there is De Sisti. You get up, you get off the pitch. That's the referee's view. To first Pele and then to the training staff. Now Rivellino. Haven't seen a rocket yet. Get on with the game. Here is Rivellino. Oh dear. Sisti. Riva. Boninsegna, it's a great turn and not a bad try. Only his 7th cap. Boninsegna. For the World Cup in Mexico, he'd only played once for the national side. He's now for Inter, used to be with Cagliari. Here's De Sisti, Mazzola. Does well to continue, Mazzola! Great challenge. Double challenge, but I think it was Gérson who got the telling foot. But again, good play by Mazzola, who's tended to be substituted at half-time. Not on today's performance, and that for me was an illegal corner. But no matter. Boninsegna puts it back. No challenge from an Italian. Fairly hopeful ball, to be fair. Carlos Alberto. Warm, muggy day. Match kicking off at midday. This is Everaldo. Not as good as he'd hoped. And that is a free kick. And it's De Sisti who's left on the ground, and the aggressor was Pele. No free kick given. Clodoaldo with the teasing cross, it's a good one. But not the best of headers from Pele. He's complaining about something. Had to stretch for it, to be fair to him. But I think he was quite lucky to be given the opportunity, because it did seem to me that he'd fouled De Sisti. Sisti again. He's been a useful assistant to Mazzola. This is Jairzinho. Just not back again, but it's still on for Brazil. And that's Tostão. Out by Cera. Mazzola. The best of passes. To be claimed by Everaldo. Gérson. Rivellino looking to cut inside on his left. Still not the accuracy, but rather more power than we've seen before. In this match, that is. It's been a feature of this World Cup, the quality of his shooting. This is Jairzinho. Pele. Well watched then by Burgnich. A touch more successful than Bertini was. The point is relative. Clodoaldo, oh, that's a mistake, and it's seized upon by Boninsegna. Still on, Riva, no, Boninsegna, and Italy have equalised. Too casual by Clodoaldo, that little back heel flick, and Boninsegna on the spot. There was a danger for a moment that he and Riva would get in each other's way. But Riva stood back to let Boninsegna score for Italy. The two of them together. Just couldn't get it away. There was Brito who came across to try and help out his goalkeeper, but the mistake was made by Clodoaldo. And Gérson, for the first time, I think, getting into the opposition 18-yard area. Tostão causing problems. Rivellino. Pele, again huge height, but this time no contact. Mazzola. I would be surprised if this turns out to be the last 5 minutes of the World Cup final for Mazzola. He's played far too well to be removed so that Rivera can come on. And here's Riva. It's a pity that they hadn't worked out a way of playing both in the same side. It's a corner. Well, Riva thought it was. Referee thought otherwise, as did Hercules Brito. And Flamengo. But meantime, two players down injured. Mazzola to take the corner. Facchetti. Mazzola being forced across. Confident header down. And here's Rivellino. Tostão looked favourite to gain possession from Rivellino, but the pass didn't come. Clodoaldo. Sharp was from Gérson. Right up on the edge of the area this time. It's a couple of times at the end of the half. Might be something that Ferruccio Valcareggi would need to do something about in the second half if he's going to continue to come forward. Gérson. Boninsegna. Corner saved. De Sisti. Good strike and very well claimed. Shot from Rosato. Inside the last 2 minutes of the first half. Gérson looking for the return. It doesn't come. Beg his pardon, that was Tostão. Here he is again, Tostão. The referee has given the free kick for that challenge. And Rivellino has been shown the yellow card. Well, referee quite clear that he kicked his man. Play continues, but rather sums up Bertini's half. Free kick for the other offence. And by Gérson, who slipped. Here's Pele. That's not going to count. The whistle had gone before, and in fact, I think it's only gone because it's the end of the half. So Pele, who had put Brazil in front, thought he'd scored a second, but he hasn't. It's 1-1 at half-time. Pele and Boninsegna, the scorers of the 2 goals. All set for the second half, with the sun finally breaking through the dark clouds which have been around Mexico City of recent times. And Brazil get the second half underway, playing from right to left. Seemingly in control in the first half, of Pele scoring in the 18th minute, but a mistake. The equaliser from Boninsegna, and forcing the South Americans to start again. Much will they be able to dictate the play? They had a lot of possession in the first half and probably were rather surprised that they weren't in front at that half-time interval. There's a demand on World Cup finals that victors should win in style. Doesn't always happen, quite often doesn't. Did 12 months ago. Will it do so now? Contrast between the approach of these 2 teams. Well, this is Gérson, and this is the best run yet from him, and a fine tackle by De Sisti. Might have to be a few more tackles if he does that. In the second half, Gérson. Goes for São Paulo. Rivellino for Corinthians. Italians thought that was their throw, but not so. Clodoaldo. I think Pele was actually trying to roll that off his chest and then turn away from Facchetti. Didn't quite work, but here's Carlos Alberto, and again some space on the right. And Pele banging his wrist against the post, so close to making it 2-1. continues to be a problem for the Italians. Carlos Alberto has a fair bit of freedom on the right flank. That's a good try by Boninsegna. Pele. This is Jairzinho. And still Jairzinho. Being bounced around a bit. With considerable determination. Just the throw. Oh dear, oh dear. A dive in by Burgnich on Pele. Well, it's the Alan Mallory principle. If you're going to mark Pele, get to the ball first. And it has to be done fairly. And the player doing the job very well on a couple of occasions. Oh! Well, that nearly surprised Albertosi. Clodoaldo. Buzz around the crowd. Gérson looking for a return, didn't quite come off. Then Pele trying to get there. Indirect free kick in the area. That's Mr. Glockner's verdict. Tiro indirecto. I think you'd have to be a linguist to translate that. I think it's going to be rush hour time. Almost as crowded as the Paseo de Reforma is at rush hour time. Main artery of the city of Mexico. He's got the ball back 10 yards. Pele inevitably on the ball. Jairzinho on the end of the wall. Tostão further over. Little touch for Rivellino. Which Riva looks as though he's the person who would try to block that if it comes. In fact, straight into the wall. And how often that happens. This is a good counter by Facchetti. Good chase there by Clodoaldo, who is very quickly goal side, but still Italian possession. This is Boninsegna, thinking a lot about it and finding a good ball too, and it got a deflection. Italy a little unlucky, one of their best attacks of the match. Possibly deserving more than the corner. Domenghini with the shot that was deflected just the wrong side of the post from his point of view. Strongly hit corner. And it's a goal kick. Pele. Gérson, Pele. Free kick given though for the challenge on Gérson. This is Jairzinho. Looks for the return. Jairzinho was pulled a bit by Facchetti. Fine challenge by Cera, but the free kick has been given for the original foul. I think the challenge was by Burgnich. Rivellino. They want to be involved in this one. Once again, the arm aloft of Rudi Glockner, indicating indirect. Okay, it only needs a deflection. Gérson. Rivellino quite capable of coming around this side. He's gone with his right foot and hits the crossbar. Well, there's a certain irony in that. The man noted for the quality of shooting of his left foot hits his best shot of this final with his right. Straight down the middle to nobody in particular. Minutes of the second half gone. Carlos Alberto. Gérson. Everaldo. Jairzinho trying to find some room, so is Gérson, and scores! Beautiful goal by Gérson. Worked the space really well. After Jairzinho had tried to do the same, and Jairzinho there to congratulate the scorer, it really was quite beautifully taken. No chance at all for Albertosi. If the score was the other way around, 2-1 to Italy, they would sit on it, but I don't imagine that Brazil will. It's no foul on Tostão. It's not in the Brazilian nature. There's a bit of a problem with Domenghini. Again, the referee doesn't want people to come onto the pitch. By people, I mean the training team. What Domenghini thought he was doing, I don't know. Maybe he knew very clearly what he was doing. Skipper again. Oh, this time plays it back in early. Gérson. Facchetti. A little theatrical by Pele, but it was a foul. A number of free kicks against the Italians growing, and their humour not improving. Bertini, who just struck the ball quite unnecessarily at Rivellino. "25 minutes of the second half gone. 20 minutes remaining. Brazil 2, Italy 1. Here's the scorer. It's nicely nodded down. Jairzinho! It's 3-1. Pele is knocked down to a really fine ball from Gérson, and Jairzinho becomes the third man in World Cup history to score in every match of the World Cup finals for the Brazilians. Little touch from Everaldo. Gérson first with a walk, then with a look up. Another huge climb, what actually didn't need to be as huge as the goal early in the match. A bit of a missed kick, to tell the truth, from Jairzinho, but Brazil lead by 3-1. He was able to recover in time to make sure the ball crossed the line. Gentle stroll for the Brazilians. Suddenly there will be movement, suddenly there will be pace. Clodoaldo. Rivellino would like to come outside. Played for the free kick, which of course is given. injured player is Bertini. This time help is allowed to come to the injured party, and I think Italy are going to make a substitution here, but it's one in force rather than one inspired. This is Giuliano who's come on. Number 18. Plays for Napoli. Takes his place in the wall. Gérson on the ball. Pele! About row 12, I would think. Boninsegna. What a really good challenge. A little bit of arguing the toss. Boninsegna again. It's giving Félix an opportunity to get into the action. If there is to be another goal, you rather feel it's going to come from the side in yellow. Italians not really suggesting they could save the day. And here's a chance! Pele, it's a good save by Albertosi. Wouldn't have counted anyway if flag was up for offside. Credit the Italian keeper. We didn't know that, but it was going to be ruled out anyway. Clodoaldo. Carlos Alberto. Jairzinho. Between the two. Pelé couldn't take it. Foul by Tostão, just leaning into his man. Rosato. Got to know each other a bit during the course of the match. Mazzola. And still Mazzola, the angle not great now. Good covering header, but this is better from Italy. Still Mazzola. Giuliano there with him. Boninsegna, but that's wild. And Gianni Rivera has been brought on late in the day, and he's replaced Boninsegna. I find that a quite extraordinary substitution. Boninsegna has had a good match. Wanting to bring on Rivera, but I really don't understand the logic. It's Riva. These two combined to defeat Mexico in the quarter-final. Riva scoring twice and Rivera once in the second half. But this is a rather different proposition. And very little time left. Barely more than 5 minutes, in fact only 5 minutes left. Not a shot of any note there. So Brazil so close to keeping the Jules Rimet trophy for all time with their third victory, 58, 62 and now 70. Everaldo. Intended for Rivellino. Too many passes have gone astray during the course of the match. Giuliano. Italians play. The Brazil playing for the joy of playing. Oh, that's wonderful from Clodoaldo. And now Rivellino. And Jairzinho. And Pele. And Carlos Alberto is coming up on his right. Oh, magnificent. Magnificent. Talk about icing on the cake. Brazilians winning it with the style of play that every neutral would have hoped to have been here to see. Fourth goal scored by the Brazilian skipper, Carlos Alberto. He's been a threat all the way through on that right side, but such a lovely attack. Sorry, there are a few problems with the pictures that we had there from the host broadcaster. But the crowd buzzing, knowing they've seen one of the great goals of World Cup football. Not an individual, a team goal with party pieces from individuals to make it happen. Might perhaps be some consolation for the England team and their supporters that without any question they were the side to test Brazil the most and had opportunities to beat them. Although in the end the victory there in the group game, a match of Banks' save and Jeff Astor's miss, was deservedly won by Jairzinho's goal. And this is Rivellino. Is he pulled back there? But he had a case. But in a way to end with a penalty wouldn't have been the right way to end. It would need another goal of the quality of the one we've just seen. Forward by Riva. Gianni Rivera brought into the fray when the match was all over, to tell the truth. Everaldo, who was at the start of the move that produced the fourth goal. Rivellino. Riva. Oh, it's a snapshot. And no more. And will the ball come back? They're in celebration. We haven't got a ball to play with at the moment. Rudy Glockner asking for another one, I think. They feel the final whistle should be blown, but it will be any minute now. Can we have another ball to play with, please? Hardly be one worth keeping, because it would have been played for barely a minute. Here's the original, which is better. That might be worth keeping for Brazil. And one or two people on the pitch, cameraman at the ready, one or two wanting to join in the celebrations. The referee saying get on with the match. Flags being waved right on the touchline. And finally, the final whistle does go. And Brazil are the world champions. And they're being mobbed by the crowd. Campeón del mundo, champion of the world. And there's no question that they are the best side in the world. And they showed it particularly in the second half. And their final goal, scored by Carlos Alberto, the captain, will live long in the memory. Absolutely superb combination football. Pele, scorer of the first goal, lifted by spectators. Brazil triumph, and the world of football is all the better for that triumph. Their victory by 4 goals to 1.